All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Free Daily Coaching. Good morning, and welcome. So we are back, and we're doing a continuation, I guess you will, of a series over the past couple of days. And so over the past few days, what we talked about was the actual build out, right? Mapping this all out. What does it actually look like, and what are the steps? So up to this point, we talked about what we had created up until this point. So if you watch Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday's episodes, you'll see all of the information that we discussed up to this point, right? So if you're just coming to the first day this morning, you're wondering, like, what is this crazy graphic mean? What is this all about? Well, this phase is the capture phase of what we were doing. Okay, so the idea was to create multiple capture mechanisms to test an offer. Okay, so we found an offer, we decided to promote an offer, and this is kind of a brief recap. And once we decided to create that offer, and we went over this earlier in the week, we broke down the numbers. We sat down and broke down the numbers to see, okay, what's the actual work that's going to be required to achieve this goal, to get to this end result. So in doing that, we recognize that we have to do a few things. We have to collect, we have to capture, right? And we're gonna have to convert at some point. So in this capture portion, what we're talking about was the funnel mechanism, the capture page, right, if you will. So that's what we were discussing yesterday. So let's move on to the next phase. So we said we're going to get more into the capture phase and show you that, and we're going to go more in and show you exactly how we did that. Now, the fun and the exciting part about this is that this is something that we've done over and over and over, and we talked about it yesterday. We made 9 different funnels. We made 3 variations, so we made 27 different funnels. But really, that number is probably really just a little bit higher, because what happened on the back end is we made a couple custom funnels that we brought in, not just from the system that we were using to create the capture pages, but we actually built some directly. When I say we, Rob did this part. He just built some directly onto the website as well for our individual, for our purposes. So this is a little bit, probably a little bit short. So we'll go into how did we build these, and then in a general way, and then we'll break it down even more. So let's erase this. So we have this in there from yesterday, and depending on what and where you're learning the C's, you're going to see different things, right? Collect is always a C. You're always going to be, capturing. Capturing is always going to be one of the mechanisms in the process. And the reason that is true is that simply capturing the email, the data from someone that's landing on your website is absolutely going to increase the conversions, the amount of sales that you're making, and the amount of future sales that you're going to make, because now that you have a way to communicate and you have permission to communicate with them over and over again, if the offer that you have right now currently doesn't match up with what they're looking for, you still have the opportunity in the future to present them with value that they may wish to take action on and decide to make a purchase in some way. And if you're doing affiliate marketing like we are, then you have that opportunity to make a commission based on their purchases. So you want to capture. You're always going to have capture as one of the mechanisms. So let's talk about that really quick before we dive into this, because we're going to talk about the other 2 portions of this as well. And so maybe I need to draw a little bit bigger. I don't usually use the dry erase. I don't usually use the whiteboard in my videos. So there's a C before here and there's one after. And we already talked about this one a little bit. We'll talk about this more as we build through the series, because this is what we're working on right now. Conversions, right? And tracking the conversion. And conversions are going to mean a lot of different things, and we're going to discuss that, okay? So this is where we want to talk about before we dive really all the way into the capture. And we showed that the capture mechanism, right? That's the funnel. That's where everyone kind of comes into this funnel and they go down to here, right? So this right here, there's two different things you may have heard. So you may have been taught or may have heard collect, okay? A lot of people online have heard this method where you learn that the first C in this pattern is collect, and we're going to talk about what that is really quick. And then also over here is create. Okay, so you may have heard one of two different ideas. The idea behind collect coming before capture is simply talking about collecting groups of people. Okay, so recently in working with Rob, I had an opportunity to find out all kinds of new resources to be able to go out and find collections of people, pools, imagine pools of people, okay? And what is this good for? Well, collecting groups of people, finding collections, right, of people allows you to then go over and capture some of their information. So collecting groups of people, okay? Finding collections of people, finding where the people are. So this could be various places, right? This could be Facebook groups. This could be LinkedIn. It could be a Craigslist, right? It could be all of these different places. Could be solo ad providers, mass emailers, right? There's all kinds of different platforms where you can find huge collections of people that you could then go and capture. So the other train of thought, the other school of thought off of collect is the create, okay, right? Create, capture, and convert. So the create portion is the lead up to the capture, okay? And what does that mean? What do I mean by lead up? I don't know how good this red is going to show up. We'll see. So before we collect people's data, and we talked about this yesterday, we've got a form here. This asks for their name, maybe their email, okay, and then just gives a submit button here that they press to get the information. Maybe up here on the top, you have a video, okay? You have a YouTube video, has a quick video that talks about something. There's a name, an email, and they can enter their information. That's an easy standard video capture form, okay, without getting too technical. A lot of times what we have before we have this capture page is we have what's called a bridge page or a landing page, okay? Or people call it a lead magnet or lead bait, okay? Those pages, right? Those pages are what is under the create, right? And that's creating a way to capture. So in essence, we really are doing the same process, right? We're finding collections of people. In this case, we're finding those collections of people by creating content that's specifically for that group of people. Let's say we were gonna do, Rob made a great example the other day that said we should get into selling some goat stuff, right? So let's say that we have a page over here that's like, I love goats. Okay, so it's an I love goats page. There's a big, there's a picture of a goat here. I'm not a good goat drawer, so don't, don't make fun of my goat drawings, right? There's a little goat. There, I'm not very good at goats. Okay, I'm not a very good goat drawer, but let's pretend there's a little goat. I love goats. There's a little story here about a goat. Maybe there's a little fun video here. that has our baby goats running all around. Here's a story about the different goats, and then it's come by our page, right? Come by and check out our other page. And then this page bridges them over to the capture page, right? This is all fun and happy. Then this bridges them over. Hey, you know what? We have a bunch of other fun videos. We have a bunch of other information about goats. We'd love to send that over to you. What's your best email? Simply enter your name and email below, and we'll go ahead and give you those fun videos. We'll give you all that information, right? So then we can send them over to the capture. So the first C is really finding collections of people, creating a way to get them to the capture mechanism, right? And that could be enough, you know, creating a way to get them to the capture mechanism could go down various roads. And we're going to talk about all of those steps as we move through this series. So we talked now about the first C, the collect and create. And the reason that we're kind of brushing over that is because right now what we were focused on doing is finding the capture page. And you can kind of work backwards, which we did, and we showed that, right? We worked from the end backwards. So in this case, we're just at the capture step. The next step is going to be moving over here to convert, and we'll show you what we're doing over there. So let's talk more about this capture idea and how effective it can be for you and your business. Let's erase this. Let's talk about specifically about the capture mechanism. Now, there's a lot of different ways, a lot of different platforms that you can use out there. We're not going to go into the specifics of the technical aspects of it today, of what platforms to use. What we're going to do is give you a general overview so that you can start to implement these ideas right now, regardless of what platform you're using. So let's write it down again so we know what we're talking about. We're talking about capture, right? And this phase of our marketing, the capture phase, is really essential. This is really where the meat and potatoes happens. This is where we have the opportunity to increase everything in our business, our conversion rates, our sales, our exposure. Everything hinges right here on this capture page. And if we can actually get people captured, get their data captured, this is critical. Now, this is the cool part. If you're new or relatively new, we're going to give you two fun things. Over the next few days and weeks and months even, Rob and I as a team are actually doing all the work, and we're actually going to give this away to our team. So that's one good piece of news, right? The second piece of good news is when you're creating the capture during this time that you're learning this process. In a future video, what I'm going to show you how to do is simply, I'm going to show you how to add a safety. Who wants to add a safety into the mix, right? Raise your hand if you want to add a safety into the mix. Well, what does that mean? What does that mean to you when I say, hey, we're going to add in a safety when you're building your capture pages? Well, what if when you first started building your capture pages and you don't know what's going to work, right? You're not sure what's going to work. What if we showed you just how to simply and easy insert a sneaky follower? What does that mean? Insert a sneaky follower. Well, that's layman's terms, okay? Insert a sneaky follower. That's layman's terms. That's common ordinary speak for, we'll show you how to install a Facebook retargeting pixel, right? Doesn't that sound complicated? It just sounds complicated. When people start talking about it, people get scared. People start to repel. They start to walk away, right? They're like, oh my gosh, I have to install a Facebook retargeting pixel. What is that? Listen, this is all it is. It's a safety for you when you're building your capture mechanisms. It's like you're inserting a little sneaky follower. That means that you insert this pixel. We'll show you how to do it. It's really not that complicated, okay? We'll show you a step-by-step process on how to do that. And so now you have this little sneaky follower that's following these people around. You could now, right? Because now it's tracked them on Facebook. So now if you want to set ads up just specifically to them, you can. You could be that sneaky follower, just like those sneaky ads that follow you around. Now you could have a sneaky follower working for you. Okay, so we're going to show you how to do that. So in addition, for those that don't want to do the work, we're going to give you the opportunity to just bypass all the work. Okay, just get it done for you already. But let's talk about this capture idea for those that are serious about building their business, for those that want to build some of their own custom offers, they have their own product and service. Let's dive into this just a little bit more. So what we have is an idea that we now want to capture our target audience. Well, the very first idea that we need to recognize is that we need to recognize that our ideas may not be the best. What? Why are you saying that, Bert? I'm full of great ideas. I'm sure you are. I'm absolutely sure that you're full of a ton of great ideas, that you have massive amounts of creativity, that armed with the right tools, you absolutely have some great ideas. But check this out. I just want you to walk into this capture page mechanism thinking that our idea, my idea might not be the best. Why? Well, because when you go to do this, if you do this properly, you'll see that your idea of what you think is actually going to work and what actually works is two entirely different things. Even when you think you figured out, okay, now I know what works, and you go and try it, it's an ever-changing dynamic. Okay, this is a dynamic industry. This is a dynamic process that's changing, okay, regularly. Okay, so you gotta, and sometimes, and this is the crazy part, things are super dynamic. This is the paradox, right? I'm about to blow your, flip it here, because you're gonna say, well, didn't you just say the opposite? Everything is massively dynamic, yet there's some consistence that just permeate and stay the same, right? And that's how you can use proven systems. So let's look at the capture page. I'm gonna give you an idea that's gonna increase your productivity right here. What if instead of split testing something between A and B, you did A, B, and C? What if you simply just added one extra into it? You've now done 3 times. So what you would have, if you did 5 funnels, instead of having 15 or 10 options, you now have 15. If you did 10, instead of having 20, you now have 30. Would that be significantly more advantageous to you? Absolutely. You're increasing by 30% or 33.3% increase, okay? You have a 33.3% increase in being able to check your stats and being able to see which of these 3 is actually going to be better. What would you like to increase your odds at getting better results? Absolutely you would, right? Absolutely. That's a silly question. So if we split test, what is a split test? That's a good question, right? We're going to split test, ABC split test. That means, okay, in easy terms, what that means is 3 versions. Okay, I know a lot of you are thinking, oh my gosh, Bert, I barely know how to make a first capture page. How am I going to make 3? I'm going to make it simple for you. Okay, you're going to in this model, okay, in this basic model, the first idea is that you're going to actually make 3 of everything. Okay, this is how you're going to pick. I'm going to write select. Let's write select. You're going to choose or select 3 individual themes or design, however you want to phrase that. Okay, you're going to just simply pick 3 individual themes or design. Everything, okay, this is important. Everything else is the same, okay? Everything else is the same. You're gonna select 3 individual theme or design. What do I mean by theme or design? Well, if you're building capture pages, if you're using some kind of tool, if you're using a funnelizer, if you're using ClickFunnels, maybe you're using lead pages like Rob and I did on this last version. We used lead pages specifically because we could import that into our websites and then use those for a team process that we're looking at. So if you're using a page builder of some type, they're going to have themes already done for you, right? And even if they don't, even if you're not using a done for you theme, you could simply design 3 different pages, right? So maybe one page, you have your very first page, here's your capture page, you have a video, and then their name, their email, and a button, okay? That's it. Let's say it's a blue page that has a video, name, email, button. 3 variations just of that page could be the exact same page, and you have one that has a blue background, you have one that has a green background. It's the same thing, right? It's the exact same thing, but it's different variation because one is blue, one is green, and one, right? One is red. So now you have 3 different versions of the same thing. Why is this important? Well, this is important, like we said, we're gonna increase, in addition to increasing by 33.3%, the productivity, the actual work, the actual amount of effort we put in and the end result, what we created, you're also giving yourself a 33.3% advantage now, because now you're testing 33.3% more, right? So you're giving yourself a broader range to test from so that you're getting a more refined result. If I put purple in here and yellow, then I could see, right? But for right now, we're gonna do ABC. We're gonna find the winner, and then we could do it again if we wanted to see if we could even increase the results even more, right? So originally, we've got the ABC split test, which is 3 versions. We select an individual theme or design. In this case, we pick video, name, email, button, right? Everything else is the same. We get the same video on every page. Same request, name, email, button. It says the same thing on all the buttons. The only difference in this case is that the page background is a different color. Maybe in this case, you just simply have a different theme, right? There's a different background picture, right? The title's the same, the copy's the same. Everything else is the same. That's how you're able to split test. So that's the beginning of the capture, right? The idea that we're going that we know that our idea isn't the best. And because we know that, we're gonna try a lot of different ideas. We're gonna try a lot of different things for the capture page. So the first thing that we're gonna try is 3 different designs. Then, okay, so step 1, select 3 designs or templates. Step 2, Step 2, create your headline. Okay, we've gone over this. I showed you many times here on Free Daily Coaching. I'm seeing if it's right here. My wife moved all my books because we moved everything. So I'm trying to see where that book is. Maybe it's on the shelf right here. All right, it's the Ultimate Sales Letter, okay? It's easy. Dan Kennedy, Ultimate Sales Letter, Ultimate Email Series. There's a bunch of different ones. Ultimate Online Marketing. Okay, just go get it. You can get it online for a couple bucks. You can also find that it's a headline generator online. It's the exact same thing. You create a snazzy headline. In this case that I'm talking to you guys about, the project that Rob and I did, we already had the headlines for a bunch of free trainings. So we used their already done headlines to create our capture pages, okay? So to create a headline, use a tool or a resource, okay? Like the book I just mentioned. Don't try to sit here for 5 hours to create your snazzy headline. You don't need to, okay? You don't need to. It's not required. And let me tell you something, what you can do. This is a little advanced, okay? This is to put you ahead of the game. When you go and create the headline, go and create 3 versions. Why? Well, because you're like, Bert, we already did our versions. We have red, blue, and green. That's okay. Once we figure out red, blue, and green and which is the best color, we can find out which is the best headline, which is the one that's gonna smack right into our audience, which is the one that's gonna cut like a knife right through like butter, right? That's just gonna whoop right through there and gonna go right to our audience so that we can get maximum conversions. So we're gonna pick 3 versions of our headline, right? We select a design. That's easy. We created a simple headline, right? Step 3. Choose some graphics and add those up on there, right? So now you've got a design. You add it in your headline. You add in some graphics and add them. And I'll put graphics or video. Maybe you're going to have a video. Right? You can just simply add in your video to the capture mechanism, right? Step number 4 is you're going to integrate, right? Integrate with your email, right? And we talked about this yesterday about working on the emails, okay? We draw a little email folder over here for you. Little email envelope, email, right? We talked about email. So you're going to integrate it with your email. And then 5, track. Okay, that's it, track. This part right here, if you're not familiar with this, most of the funnel builders that you're going to start using and working with, they're going to have this built-in feature for you, right? They're going to have a way where you can go and watch one of their training videos, see something where they can show you how to track it. If they don't, you have the ability to go use some free tools on Google. We're going to show you how to use some awesome tools as well in over the next few videos, right? So this is what we're showing you, exactly how to build this. Now, I showed you a basic framework for how to build a capture page. I didn't show you any technical tools. I didn't show you go in here and do this. I showed you, what if you had all of these things? What if you already had all these things? What if you are ready to go with all these things? Do you think no matter what tool we use that I could show you how to use it? Absolutely. Just a few days ago, I had never used the page builder that we currently are using, that I'm using with Rob. And now I know how to use that page builder. Just a few days ago, I didn't know how to track as in depth as I do now, but because I watched a bunch of training, because I went in and started applying, because, check this out, because we went in and did it all and broke it all. We broke it all. We didn't even know what we were doing, right? We went in, we thought we knew what we were doing, so we went in, we built everything, we configured everything how we thought, and it was not working. Right? So we built it, but it wasn't working. Why? Well, because we get all these steps done and we got to track, and we tried some stuff out. We were not tracking. So what did we do? We went in and looked at what we had set up, read some information and found out that some of what we had applied was not congruent, wasn't going to talk to each other, so we had to fix it. So we're going to go into all of these steps in more depth so that you can see the actual build out. However, I wanted to give you this general idea so that you could see that what if you had all of this set up first? If you were ready to go, do you think it would be much easier to put together? I guarantee it would be much easier to put together. So decide on what you're going to do, what 3 different templates you're going to use, right? What 3 different design features that you're going to make different. Just decide it. You don't even have to be in your builder. Be like, hey, I'm going to do one with a book, I'm going to do one with a picture and one with a video, right? That's it, right? I mean, you can be that simple. You don't have to pick the exact template. You're going to create 3 headlines. You're going to use a resource or a tool so you're not sitting at your desk for 27 hours trying to figure out the best headline that ever exists on the planet, because we already talked about your idea might not be the best idea. So let's use a template that's already going, that we know that's proven ideas. Let's start with those, then we can move forward, right? We can refine the process and we can check even more ideas. We can split test as many times as we want. Step number 3 is choose some great videos, some graphics, something, and now add them to, because we selected a template or design, right? So let's add those, let's have those, let's save those on your computers, let's get those ready, let's create them, let's add them to the mix, okay? Let's have them ready. Now let's integrate with our email. So what does that mean if we're gonna integrate with our email? Well, as we get into this, and I'll show you, that means you gotta go create the email list, right? You have to actually create the list to be able to connect to. You have to actually have an autoresponder set up, right? Then track. What does that mean? Well, we just discussed that you're gonna have to add that tracking in, and we're gonna get more in depth into that and show you exactly how to do this. So we're breaking it down, we're making it easy, and we're doing it in a step-by-step process for you so you can see the entire process. So you can see what's going on in our head before we start working. Then once you see these ideas and concepts, when I show you the work that we put into it, now you'll understand how we're able to do the volume of work that we're doing on a consistent basis, because we have a formula, because we have a plan. So when we go in to do something, we know exactly what actions to take. That doesn't mean that every single time we take the action that we get the result we want. There's been multiple times now in this building process that I've sent a message to Rob saying, okay, I did this entire thing yesterday, and it didn't work the way that I thought, right, for a whole day. On the opposite, the exact same is true for Rob, right? Hey, I did this, and this. I tried to make this work a specific way, but it's not functioning in the way that we'd like. So this, just because you have the list and the formula doesn't mean that it always goes right. Just because you take your car in for an oil change doesn't mean that the guy doesn't, that the mechanic might not notice, hey, your front headlight's out, and so is your blinker, your left rear blinker. Would you like me to go ahead and take care of that? Well, if you just stopped in for the oil change, you were thinking, hey, this is Jiffy Quick, super quick time oil change, 20 minutes or less, but now they're adding on the light bulb changes, it's gonna be an extra 10 minutes, that's 30 minutes, right? So just because you have a list of steps, just because you have a formula, just because you go in for the oil change, doesn't mean there might not be a couple extra steps. It might not take a couple extra minutes, right? So that's the idea of what we're doing tomorrow on Free Daily Coaching. You'll see a little bit more of a breakdown, and what we'll do is we'll break down each of these steps just a little bit more for you so that you can start to see exactly how you can apply this in your business. And remember, the good news for those of you that would like to, you can get this stuff already done for you. It's simple, it's easy, and you can have a pile. Imagine that. You can have a pile of capture pages at your fingertips. So if you haven't already, I'm gonna send you over to our site, our team site, Rob and Bert. Go check out this quick video that Rob has shot for you. Check this video out. If it makes sense for you, then go ahead, just click through, grab your free training account. You're going to have access to massive amounts of free training. And what we're going to be able to do is show you how we're going out and promoting that free training, and you can be a part of our team and access all of what we are actually building. And what I'm showing you, you'll be able to actually have access and start to leverage. So thanks for visiting us this morning at Free Daily Coaching. Go check out our free offer, and we'll see you the next time here at Free Daily Coaching. Thanks for joining us. See you the next time.